welcome to Hollow Acres Homestead. My name is Stephanie and today is garden tour day. So this is now week 11 of garden tour week. Right now it is about 12 o'clock noon. It has been overcast today. I've been waiting for it to rain and it hasn't. So everything's looking a little droopy. Okay. We're going to start here on the far part of the fence. So you can see the droopiness, but there's sunflowers and cucumbers. And around my wagon, look, that's one watermelon vine. How cool is that? And it stretches all the way. Now you can see it starts to get sick right here and back here. But this way it has rerooted, set new roots, and then it gets healthier as it goes. So that is a very cool thing about watermelons and pumpkins. They will set off new root shoots just like tomatoes. And because of that, the plant continues to grow. So these sunflowers have been blooming for about 2 weeks. I let them bloom. I want to save the seeds. And here's our damaged plant. I have not seen any melons on this plant. I have not. We have had the squash borer problem, a real big problem. And you will see soon we've lost a lot of plants due to pests. It looks kind of sad over here. Oh wait, zoom up. Oh, look at that. That's very tall. So this plant is real droopy. As soon as I water it, it'll be fine. I'm going to water it whenever the sun gets off. You don't want to water your plants whenever it's the heat of the day. Let's see if this will focus. I got one watermelon. I mean that should be a watermelon. I don't think that's a pumpkin. If it is, it would be Jarradale. But I'm like 85% sure that's a melon. Look over here. Look at this. There's a cucumber right there. Yeah. And then the cucamelons growing all the way up, starting to wrap around. Over here, Morning Glory and cucamelons. The Morning Glory is doing exactly what I wanted it to do. It's really bright over here, but this is the only place in the entire garden right here where I put Morning Glory. Morning Glory is extremely invasive. It will take over an entire area just like cucamelons, but I like cucamelons. Cucamelons are fine. They provide me with cucamelons. Morning Glories have very pretty purple flowers. These are purple, and cucamelons lining. So this will take over very soon and then come back every year. That's what I'm hoping is going to happen with the cucamelons here. So I have cucamelons and cucumbers lining the fence, and my hope is that the cucamelons will come back every year. Hanging pots on the other side. Strawberries, believe it or not, they finally broke their dormancy. But the ones in the garden I've not noticed yet. I don't think I've noticed. But here in the front, things are looking kind of rough. They really are. We are almost in the 100-degree days. The cucumbers are just now setting blossoms and fruit, and once it starts hitting about 100 degrees, cucumbers stop. Cucumbers will drop their blossoms and stop producing fruit. So, figures, right? Okay, there are bees everywhere. This corn is the best looking thing in here. Zucchini. Remember how epic this was? It was really tall. Well, it's fallen. Some of the plants have died. We have a lot of these horse flies, and they bite. They do. They're kind of jerks. So we're going to let them have that side. And we'll just come over here. Glorious. I need to come through again with diatomaceous earth. I only did one treating. Look at this amaranth. Yeah, that is amaranth. I think all the amaranth, but all the amaranth in here is damaged. So a deer, I'm just assuming it's a deer. The way that it's topped things off, got back in the garden, came after the amaranth, all of them. So between the deer and the pests, for the amaranth, it is the pigwig beetle. You know, I have looked up that bug probably 15 times. I know what the spelling is, but for whatever reason, my brain just does not want to pronounce it properly. It's so pretty. So I am noticing yellowing on the corn. There's so many bees over here. That's why I'm not getting so close. We'll come back. But the yellowing on the corn, so I do need to fertilize. There's like no moisture in this soil at all. I've been waiting for it to rain, and it's not raining. Look at the loofahs. The loofahs are growing. Yay. The grape plant behind it, I think it's dead. I do. The roots are not coming out of the ground. It might break dormancy next year. Who knows? These loofah plants coming up also. I believe this is a red noodle Chinese yard long bean. I know that I'm saying that wrong. The grapes are coming back here. So this is, I'm pretty sure it's the Chinese yard long noodle bean. We have one spaghetti squash plant left. Squash borers wiped out most of the spaghetti, I think all the spaghetti squash. So I'm going to replant. I did plant some, oh, let me fix the lighting. I did replant butternut squash because I really wanted to have butternut squash. I have 5 really small spaghetti squashes on my counter inside, but they're not going to store very long. So I do want to plant more so that I can store them for the winter. That is my goal, winter squash. This is the last plant on this side. All of this, I've pulled the straw. This was potatoes. I've harvested all of that. I tossed in a whole bunch of pumpkin seeds, moved around the soil, and now we'll see if pumpkins grow there. Now in the front, this amaranth is doing all right. See, there's that beetle I keep talking about. Pigweed beetle, I don't know. The blueberries started dying back, so, you know, I don't know. I guess I'll fertilize them. I guess I should do that. That one never even came to life. This one here is also starting to die back a little, so I guess they need compost fertilization. These are sweet baby watermelons that I have lining. This one is starting to trail out. It's actually planted way back there, so it's doing well. Basil here. I don't know what specific basil that is, but it smells lovely, like basil. Amaranth. So yeah, okay, we'll go ahead and walk the whole thing. Daisy. So our flowers are starting to bloom over here, wildflowers. It was a random box, so like I said, I don't know what specifically this stuff is. This is Snapdragon. I let it go to seed. It's producing seed. I will take some of the seeds. Let's see. That's a weed. Let's see, but these, I don't want to get stung by nothing. That's what I'm afraid of. These look dry, so if I pop it off, there might be seeds in there.
How big are they?
I don't know. I'm trying to get in there. Yep, there it is.
And the fully formed?
No, that's not it. It's really hard to do this with one hand.
You can do it.
Let's see. There are seeds in there. So I'm going to have to pluck these, take them inside. That did not work out like I thought. It's very difficult to pull seeds out of a dried flower with only one hand. Now, do you see that right there, the fence? My husband had to rig up a fence for me to keep the deer out because they have broken every angle of my fence. So we will walk there in a moment. But here's the long bed. There's carrots right there. I have started harvesting the carrots. They're still not as big as I want them to be. Celery going to seed. There's dinosaur kale back there also going to seed. Fine, we'll walk this way since we started with this bed anyway.
Ooh, here's some. Oh, these ones are jointed together.
You could pick a carrot.
There's 3 of them like jointed, like cemented together.
Okay.
Guess what's wrong?
They're just little carrots.
Oh.
I want them to get bigger. Alright, well there you go. You got some carrots.
Oh, I'll go wash these.
So that's almost done through its seed process. That is spinach, is what that was.
You are welcome, Mom.
Thank you, sweet pea. Okay, a dinosaur kale. See these seed pods, this one is dry. They are all starting to dry. I will chop it off at once, come out, get all the seeds, pop them out, and save them. Whole lot of pest damage. spinach, I want to come out and get some of this. Even when spinach goes to seed, I don't feel like it tastes bitter. At least not what I have. There probably are varieties that do taste bitter, but I haven't noticed. There's carrots back there that we also need to come get. All this dinosaur kale needs to be cut down. These tomatoes are growing. These are Costoluto Genovese tomatoes, all of them. Don't expect any fruits from them. I just want them to cover the archway. I pulled out and left all the lettuce to compost in place right here in this bed, all the way down to the end. So I'm going to be starting more lettuce seeds today and some other spinach, dinosaur kale, things like that. I can still get some young leaves from them before it gets way, way too hot. But very soon it'll be time to start seeds for fall. So we are at the back of the garden now. Here is the makeshift fence we had to come up with. Used all of the extra wood that we had. That's not bad, right? Okay. So there's my trash basket. And ironically, a whole bunch of trash not in the basket. But here is what we had to come up with. So right here you can't see, but there is deer fencing there. And then it looks okay, and then it starts looking really bad because we were running out of wood. And you know what? It's not about being pretty, it's about keeping the deer out. So far it seems to be working. Doesn't seem to be broken anywhere. So I have this really nice shaded area right here. Unfortunately, it's just so steep. I know you can't tell on camera, but it's just too steep to do anything with. Alright. And we've got some weeds and vines growing over what is deer fencing here, so that kind of acts as a natural barricade. And then back here, my mess. These are trays to hold things, and really I'm just going to get rid of them. Running out of wood. My husband used styrofoam. He thought that would work, and you can see that something has pulled that back and got in anyway. I'm thinking foxes, just because I hear them howling in the night, or yelping rather. So apple trees, they are starting to come back since the deer chopped them down. I still haven't done anything with them. I'm very neglectful, but I'll do it. I need to come out with the weed eater. I did not weed eat this area over here. It's just growing so fast. And, you know, I was going to put beds here, but all this growing in, I don't know. Well, pretty much everything that you see there is dead. Pretty much everything, seriously. I've been very neglectful, and things are dying. And that happens, you know. So I need to come save this one tray. I need to come save what is here. Need water. This is why we had to build that hasty fence. They topped off everything. So all the beans are gone, and I replanted this row in front are Mariglobe tomatoes. I believe that is the variety. And then on the other side are bell peppers. And then there's amaranth. And then in this row, all the beans were topped. All the spaghetti squash in the third row, oh, they were zucchini. So I pulled the peas down, got what pea seeds I could, and the squash vine borers took out all of the zucchini there. That right there, that's okra. I know you can't tell, but it is. All of that is okra too. Been chopped down. Oh yay! Look.
Yes.
Says I've been cut, but I'm still gonna give you some okras. Hey, look, there's an okra right here. How about that?
Okra.
They're not ready yet, though. And all my purple beans are gone, too. I'm really hoping they're going to make a comeback, but I just don't know. But those flowers, although they're droopy and really need water, that's beautiful. So this amaranth here, as you can see, it's getting light on the ends and kind of getting like fluffy. It is hard to see on the camera. And we got a little guest there. Okay, so what this is doing, get off, okay. Amaranth can be used as grain, so I want this to get all the way to its grain stage so that I can save some grain. That is a new thing that I'm trying out this year. I've never grown anything for grain before, but I figured amaranth, it's beautiful, let it live its life cycle, and at the end of it, we can see what we can do with its grain. So, amaranth, cosmos, it's very fluffy and bushy. I have been coming out here and harvesting some cosmos and zinnias and putting them on my kitchen table. So these don't look good right now. They really don't. They're very droopy. As soon as I water them, they'll bounce back really quickly. Avocado tree actually looks really well. Those are avocado pits. They need to be watered. Okay, here's the greenhouse. Yuck, right? I know. This is probably the last time you'll see this greenhouse where it is looking like this. I'm going to be moving this greenhouse this week and adding more beds. I need more beds so that I can plant out more potatoes. Right now, potatoes are $7 to $10 a bag, depending on the size, between 3 and 10 pounds. I don't want to pay that. That's just like a ridiculous amount of money for potatoes. So I am going to grow 5 or 6 full rows of potatoes. See what I can put away before winter. We're at the long tomato bed here. It's very hard to see. I know it's really bright. Asparagus, basil, Amish paste tomatoes. They've been chopped down by deer, but they are making a comeback. I don't remember what tomatoes I planted here. I should, but I don't. I believe this is an eggplant, or it was an eggplant or a pepper or something. Hard to say now. I did come through and chop down the daisies. I did that in the heat of summer. It's ridiculous. I shouldn't have done that, but I did. And I'm going to do my best to repot it. So I'm going to pull everything up and, reroot it and, pot it up or transplant it out somewhere else. Here are the daisies. Very pretty painted white daisies. Droopy, but that's all right. Castelluto Genovese. These are the best because they came in here first. Now, are we seeing here? That looks like disease. So I need to come out and I need to do something about that or I'm going to lose my plants. Bugs and disease. All right. We ended at the end right there. We're coming back to the front here. I pulled out all of the carrots in here. I need to replant this bed, but I need compost. These are Brad Atomic Grape tomatoes. They looked really stinking cool. They don't look happy right now, but I'm going to get them to grow. This had spaghetti squash. They're dead. They died. See, there's one more I didn't pull out yet. Dead. On the second bed, everything here is going to seed. These are the radish seeds. They form these little pods, and when it dries, your seeds are in there. So I'm waiting for those to dry. These are purple bell peppers. I guess there were tomatoes in here. So it looks like we got a bunch of cucamelons growing in there. Celery. This is probably going to taste bitter because it's all flimsy now. So I guess I'll just put that in stew. This bed is pretty empty except for the tomatoes and the rattlesnake beans. So we'll come here and you can see where the deer got in. And it's funny, you can see where the deer stopped too. So the top is super bushy and the bottom is not. This happened about a week ago. I'm starting to see more growth. So, I'm hopeful. I needed to come out and harvest the beans up top though, because there are still quite a bit of them. Well, you didn't even see. So from the top up, it's awesome. Disappointing, I know. Okay. Also the rattlesnake beans. Got them up to the top, but at the top they're producing. This is my one rattlesnake bean. Well, I'm going to let a few go to seed, but this one I have been saving, letting it go to seed. Bed full of tomatoes. I couldn't tell you which ones they are because I forget things, but we have little tomatoes, and that is so exciting. We're going to have tomatoes. There's blossoms everywhere. There's little tomatoes forming. We're going to have a lot of tomatoes. Basil. This one got really tall. So that's all going to taste bitter because it drooped. So I guess that I can dehydrate the celery. I don't know if it's still going to taste bitter after that. There's beans. I don't have a basket with me. I need to go get a basket before I come pick all these. There are cucumbers on the sides. They're not doing so hot.
Look right behind you. Perfectly green.
And this is the White Wonder cucumber. See, they're starting to form weird, and they're getting disease. They're getting sickness.
Look.
I think it's just getting too hot now, but that's a good one.
Look, it's perfect.
Oh yeah, look at that one. We're gonna let that one get bigger. That might be the dark Armenian long cucumber. Something got to that amaranth. These are, oh, what are these? Peach trees, maybe? Pear trees? Man, I can't remember. In the herb garden, most of the cilantro is almost ready to harvest the seeds. Cilantro or coriander. It's the same thing, whatever you want to call it. Got basil there in the corner. Cucumbers, a few. This white sage does not look happy. I'm sad about that. But parsley going to seed. See, now I have not allowed parsley to go to seed. So I don't know if, you know, like the seeds are going to form. I imagine they would form in there, probably form clusters like everything else does. I would just assume. Butternut squash. This one. See, if I could just get this plant to give me a squash, I'll be happy. Now here over here, this one's a little larger. I want some butternut squashes, and they're not doing well over here. I mean, they're doing, you know, but not well. Let's see, there were tomatoes growing along the back. There still are. There they are. There's ginger in the middle somewhere, but it's not done nothing. Celery. And this is a Israel Olgan melon. I believe that's what it's called. So, you know, we'll see what that does. Today I'm going to be starting Tigger melons again from seed. They did not germinate last time. I want a Tigger melon. I do. I want one. I'm going to grow one. It's going to happen. So there's been a lot of damage this last week. I have not posted very many videos. I actually haven't posted a single video all week. Been dealing with a lot of personal stuff, and I just needed my time. So the garden tour has now come to an end. There's still a lot going on. A lot of things are growing, and we are headed now for the second round of plantings. I do need to make more beds. Still need to figure some things out. You know, but things are going well. They are. That is all that I have for today's garden tour. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and we'll see you next time here on Hollow Acres Homestead.